What up, Miss Lady? So I'm on here briefly right now because we're going. All roads lead to my YouTube channel. Yeah, that's because you ain't following me like you should, Miss Lady J. I'm live on YouTube right now, getting ready for a YouTube exclusive conversation tonight. Tonight, our conversation is amazing conversation that we're gonna have. It's called Drums, Please. It's called Collecting People. The conversation we're having tonight is collecting people. It got 45% of the votes. Collecting people is what we're talking about tonight. Yeah, Patricia, what's up? Yep, Latif. It's in the title on YouTube and on Instagram. We're talking about collecting people, y'all. Yeah. You had three choices: collecting people, why lie, and the impact of what you've unpacked. Now, those two tied in, so we'll have to flip a coin and see which one of those. Yeah, I was surprised too, but when I posted it, what up, Jim Seeker? We were so close, Jim Seeker. We was just trying to reach third place, but the dude, he went up like 750-something thousand coins. And we made it up to like 600,000, something like that, but we needed a lion on a double or a triple or something like that. Yeah. Well, then how you gonna say you ain't seen me in a while because you ain't been on? Come on now. I see YouTube populating. Listen, if y'all need to know my YouTube, it's youtube.com/ICGreen, numeric 1. I'm live. You'll see a red symbol there saying I'm live. What's up, everybody showing up over there? Nope, HiCon, we not doing that. I should have turned it off for the next 10 minutes so I don't keep getting disturbed. What up, D? Everybody, we're on YouTube right now getting ready for this YouTube exclusive conversation about collecting people. Yeah, Jim Seeker, I sent out an invite. I think I sent out an invite. I don't know if I did or not. I know I sent out invites, but I thought I tagged you and Dream or whatnot, but maybe it didn't go through. Some, YouTube, TikTok be playing with me sometimes. So, collecting people is what we're talking about on YouTube only. So there's a 15-minute grace period on Instagram and on TikTok before I shut them off completely. Collecting people, y'all. I think it's an important conversation for us to have. It was brought to me by during a conversation. It was inspired from a conversation I had a couple days ago. Yeah, did you got your new phone though, right? You back in business? You good? Oh, how they suspend you for what? That's crazy. Yeah, interesting topic, right, honey? Oh, okay, you got it back. Okay. Tonight we're talking about collecting people. Share the live right now while you can and let people know what's going on. We're going to be live on YouTube only. Hey, man, you better stop. You're going to miss it then. Listen, you can watch it on the replay, too. If you don't see it immediately, you can watch it on the replay. I have no problem with that. Wow. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that because okay. Yeah. There you go, Miss Nye. She said collecting folks. Yeah, collecting people. Collecting people, y'all. Yeah. So we're on YouTube right now. Afro Latina is posting my YouTube channel up there so y'all know where it's at. What up, Sin? I see you. Yep, collecting people. Yep. It was a conversation that inspired this. Like most of the time when I talk to y'all, it's from conversations I've had. And someone will have said something that will have triggered a thought in my mind, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? What up, Raquel? What up, Crystal? Yeah, okay. And if y'all know me, y'all know the title is one thing, but the things that follow after it become so much more than that. You know what I mean? So that's what's gonna be interesting about it. You know what I'm saying? When it was said differently, but I was like, I understand, I get it. And dynamically, we're all a part of it, you know? And once you recognize that and you understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get into it. Right now, we're waiting for everybody to join so they can come and meet us over there. I see the YouTube is populating. We're getting everybody over there, so that's dope. Stacy, I see you. Celeste, I see you. Tashala, I see you. Patricia, I see you. Yep. Make sure you hit the thumbs up when you join over there. If there's something that you want to be seen or said, remember we have super chats, super stickers. You can become a member over there. I remember y'all missed it. Y'all wasn't here. Tammy was buying everybody memberships the other day. So, but you can become a member on there as well. And then there's collecting people, Ural. That's the conversation tonight. Collecting people. Wow. Okay. Famous, what up? Yep. Yep. You kind of get it. You think you get it, Famous. They said, I already get it. Yeah. That's right. You're in the right place, T, baby. Olivia, I see you. Shy, what up? We're having an exclusive conversation. So typically when I'm sharing a really dope conversation and I want to, the focus and whatnot, we just do it on YouTube instead of TikTok, because on YouTube, it's able to be replayed and repurposed. So, wow. Yeah, I feel you on that. That's a lot of work. What up, Didi? Yep. So you can join, and you can, I would like for you to join, but if you don't, I understand. Some people don't like switching platforms, although, you switch handbags for different events that you go to. It's kind of like that. What up, Marcella? I see you, designer. I see you, Sin. I'm on every platform, but I'm getting off right now. I'm on TikTok here. I'm on Instagram here. And then on YouTube, YouTube is YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch all at the same time. I could actually do 5 or 6 more on. I could do a bunch more. I could do Twitter as well as Pinterest and LinkedIn at the same time too. I just choose not to. I don't nurture those platforms. It is strictly YouTube. I give 15 minutes grace period for those who don't know the information, Latif, and then I'm cutting these off. I'll be disconnecting from TikTok and YouTube shortly. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah. Famous said, what's understood don't need to be explained. There you go. I am, Susan. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought you said expressive. I sounded, y'all don't understand. Susan said, you Susan said, you are very impressive. And I said, yeah, I am. Now, y'all know I'm not like that. That was so arrogant. That is not me, y'all. No, we have 26 nuggets now. We went up. We didn't lose any matches. I'm at IC Green 1. That was so funny, Kathy. That was so funny. Y'all have no idea. I had to reread it. You know what I mean? I had to reread it and be like, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? She said, you are so impressive. I said, yeah, I am. That's like that Jim Carrey moment in Liar Liar. She's like, I've had better. Oh, man, I appreciate that, yo. Yeah, that's too funny. That was a Liar Liar moment. Oh, my God. Great way to start the night out. Yeah, that is hilarious. So, yeah, we got 4 more minutes. It is 11:11 for those of you who wish on the numbers and stuff like that. It is 11:11 right now. 4 more minutes, and then I'll be shutting off Instagram and shutting off TikTok for an exclusive conversation just for my YouTube members and audience. I am simply just for the moment, but yeah, these are my real eyes, Sam, but I'm getting off of both of those so that we can talk on YouTube. YouTube.com/IC Green and the numeric 1. So ICGREEN and the numeric 1. I posted it on all the sites so everybody could see it earlier today. Hopefully you guys took that information down and applied it. What up, Tamara? Thank you so much. We're growing. I see everybody coming over. When you get to YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, put the thumbs up. Remember, there are super chats and super likes available. You can also become a member. And I forget there may be something else, you know what I'm saying? I will be posting comments on the live so that you can see your comment posted. I'm absolutely posting any super chats that you guys do. I'm definitely posting in the live. So, excuse me. Tonight's conversation is collecting people. I see you, Afro-Latina. I see you, Marianne. Yeah, did I say something wrong? Yeah, I meant YouTube. Whatever I said, I meant YouTube. Lisa, we're live on YouTube right now. IC Green 1. All 97 of you people, or 100 of you people should be on YouTube right now. Yep. Sheena, everybody should be on YouTube right now. I'm sure it ain't, Foxy. Anyway, everybody should be on YouTube right now. YouTube.com, IC Green 1. JC, I see you. Yeah, that's my people right there. I see you, JC. And the irony is, so for those of you, well, you guys can't see it. If you're on, well, yeah, you can see it on Ecamm. You can see which platform everybody's on. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Yep. Don't be scared. You good. 2 more minutes, y'all. No, you're not. I'm gonna type it in here one time for y'all to get it. Comment. YouTube. No, I'm not trying to battle, man. Why you see me typing? Now I got to start all over. Did you hate that? YouTube. ICGREE and a numeric 1. Send, and then see if I can post it. Pin this comment. All right, so when that comment goes away, I'm shutting down. What up, Maria? I'm live on YouTube.com. ICGREEN and the numeric 1. IC Green 1. What up, Bonica? What up, Michelle? What up? Yep, I see you, Sheena. Okay, Tina, you over there? Okay, cool. Yep. Countdown. Once that thing hits 15, I'm cutting everything off. YouTube.com. IC Green 1. Louise, I see you. All right. So I'm going to shut off Instagram first right now. In now and discard because there's nothing to see there. All right. And then we're shutting off TikTok right now. So TikTok people, hey, I appreciate y'all coming to the live. Unfortunately, this is a YouTube only conversation. If you want to come over to YouTube, you got 5 seconds to get the name right there. YouTube, IC Green 1, ICGREEN, and the numeric 1. We're going to jump right into this conversation. All right. So, the fun part of this was, I gave you guys a whole bunch of options, right? I gave you 3 different options to choose from for our topic and our conversation tonight. And mainly because there was so much that was presented to me over the last couple of days since our conversation about the power of your P. For anybody in the live right now that didn't get an opportunity to see that video, hopefully you'll take an opportunity to go back and watch some of the previous videos. I'm going to name the power of your P. I'm going to name that as episode 1 of Scrap After Dark and the conversations that we have, because it was a very, very dynamic conversation. It was real poignant. I think that there was a lot in it, and I know some people didn't expect it to be about what it was about. It hit many different levels. But you should go back and watch that. I don't want to give anything away. One of the things that you guys can do, especially the people who did participate in watching it, is you can go through and clip certain parts out of it and share it on your live so people can revisit the whole thing. But that'll give them an incentive to check it out. We'll wait. Can you you know what? Yeah, I don't want to log back on it. Where was Stacy? I don't know. But we need to get Stacy in here as well, and everybody else. If anybody wants to hit her on TikTok and tell her we're live, that we're live over here, you guys can do that. That'd be really, really dope. But I wanted to give you guys, because there was so many different conversations, and those were the top 3, right? The top 3 conversations that had came up were why lie, which that's still going to be a very, very dynamic conversation. I know y'all not ready. I didn't know what y'all was going to pick, right? I just knew that I have an interest in communicating about that one as much as another one that's going to be very, very dope for you. All right, Stacey, there she go. Is the impact of what you've unpacked. Now, I don't like describing what any of these things are about. What's up, Nina? I don't like describing what they're about because I'd rather I just want to be a thought provoker. I just want to plant a seed and see where you take it. You know what I'm saying? And I know the expectations are different and whatnot. And so collecting people is one of those conversations that came up while I was communicating with somebody, and a successful person, you know what I'm saying, in everything that they do. And they just communicated how important it is for us to collect people. It's an important concept when you think about it from that aspect of collecting people. We do it. Every last person in this live collects people. Every last person, and I don't want to say you're guilty of it or whatever, but we've all collected people, and we collect them in different ways. Collecting people, your friends that you've known, you know what I'm saying? If you think about how you met and what sustained your relationship and why you've collected them as a collaborator in your life, it's important. As we move forward, I know that I know that my experience on TikTok, my experience on online, I know that people have collected me as a resource for, one reason or another. I don't, you don't question why you're chosen to be in people's lives, especially people who take good care of you. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, people who sow into you that have collected you. You know what I'm saying? And effectively, those relationships, you end up collecting them back and they become a resource for your happiness, or, they're a shoulder when you need it, or, you know what I'm saying? They're people that you can rely on. And then some people are assholes, and then some people are dirtbags, and some people, you know what I'm saying, don't have any good intent for you at all. So collecting people is important from every single level. If you look at your success or your failures, you have to look at who was involved with that while you were going through that, and look at the fact that you chose them, and these are the people that you've collected over time. And what you'll find is, out of everyone that you've collected, good or bad, that you're at the center of what you've collected. You're at the center of your collection. If you look around, everybody's around you. Everybody that you have brought into the fold are people that you accept as your people. You know what I mean? They're the people who you were able to choose, and that allowed you to be a part of their collective. So you have to take some ownness in it for the successful ones, the ones who just consistently show up and show out. And then you also have to take stock in those that haven't. Now, we can take collecting people as, I know some of y'all was thinking like collecting people like on an intimate level, because, there was a thing. I don't know if it's a thing now. I don't know if it's still a thing where people say, how many bodies you have. But there was a conversation, and I think it's really happening with the youth and people, who are insecure to some degree, who want to communicate about what experiences you had in your life on an intimate level with other people. I don't think that's anybody's business. I don't think it's anybody's business, and I don't think anybody can handle that kind of truth. And I'm saying it across the board. I'm not saying it in that, that you've been out here getting busy or nothing like that. But even if you've only had one lover in your life or whatever, people should take you at a value that doesn't involve what your experiences are. Now, I will tell you this. Collecting people, it has its pros and its cons. And when we talking about on an intimate level, it is challenging. I'm gonna just tell y'all this, and so y'all can understand. There is a point where naivety is good, and then there's a point where too much experience is bad. And I'm talking about from a relating aspect, right? Most people who've been very, free with themselves intimately, those who have been very free, you're not the only person. You're the only person on Twitch, Lady O, but there's over 35 people. It's like 39 people in the live. You're not alone. I'll post your comments so you can see, and they can see what you're saying. You're not alone. Those people who share themselves freely with people, there's a cost. You know what I mean? There's a cost to, to doing that. Now, most of the people want to talk about spiritual ties and, soul ties and whatnot that they say exist. And I'll tell you, the greater evil in that has nothing to do with, how much emotion you have connected to people. It really happens at the point where a person is insatiable. It's almost like you've ruined yourself for everybody else. Think about it. If you go to a buffet and you eat everything at the buffet, but you say to yourself, I want a 5-star, a Michelin meal, you know what I'm saying? You want the best food that's out there. Well, that food is really, really good. But because you tried so much of this other food, you can't appreciate how good that food is. Does that make sense? When you've experienced so many things that, have been random and without intent and purpose, that when you finally settle down and you say you want to experience something that has purpose, you can't appreciate it because you're kind of numb to it based off all the other experiences. You know what I'm saying? Imagine this. I mean, I could break it down even simpler than that. And it's as simple as this. You shake hands. You go down the line and you shake hands and you shaking all these rough hands and all that stuff and whatever. Your hand is numb by the time you shake one of the most beautiful hands you're going to shake. One of the softest, well taken care of hands. It's going to be a problem for you because you will have missed it because of all the other hands that you've shaken. You know what I mean? That is a concern when it comes to collecting things. You don't want to collect so much that you can't appreciate the real diamond out of the bunch. So you have to be careful when collecting people and experiences and things. And that's why I don't bug out. You know what I'm saying? When I'm naive to something or when an experience is kind of fresh and new to me. You know what I'm saying? I think the conversation should change more at a youth level. And this is more for parents to talk to their kids about. But there's a level that should change at the youth level because some youth grow up thinking that more is better. How many women can I sleep with? Not understanding that the future damage that they have is really in being insatiable. There will be no one. The reason why a lot of the entertainers that you see have challenges settling down with one woman is because they've had all the women. They've had all the women. So when I say you've had all the women, 9 times out of 10, here's the case. You will have, as a person who has been very active physically with women, you'll find a woman who is amazing. She's been free. She's learned. She's experienced. She's educated. She'll be amazing in when she's intimate with you, but she will be horrible in so many other things that she will not be somebody that you keep. Then you'll find someone who is, about her business. She's got her mind, her head on straight and whatnot, but you don't have as much fun with her as you did with the girl who you had fun with that had no care in the world. And so now you're chasing something that should have, more thought and care and concern should be put into. Now you're aimlessly searching for something like that first hit, so to speak. Yeah, you're trying to find something to fit into the place of the thing that you were so, excited about before, but didn't fit the other profile. And that's typically the case with most relationships. When you're collecting these people, you understand that one aspect of their life is really, really dope for you. You know what I mean? You really enjoy it. And then there's other parts of it that haven't been nurtured as much as that one part. Most people know that, people lead with their strengths. And in doing that, if they're really, really self-conscious, they put that strength out there so much that you can't see their weaknesses until you've already crossed some kind of threshold. And at that point, you feel a little duped about it or whatever, and you feel a little more invested than you would have been normally. And instead of the what is it? The fight or flight thing comes into place, and people don't fight as often nowadays. The reason why we have so many situations where people have exited or whatnot is that they don't fight as much. And you need to understand, as you're collecting people, are you collecting fighters? Are you collecting warriors? Are you collecting people who have empathy? Are you collecting people who are going to stand in the trenches when things get rough? Especially when we talk about relationships, you know what I'm saying? So as you're collecting your people, you have to keep these things in mind. And then you have to be mindful of your technique for collecting people. The most fortunate of us collect people by accident. You know what I mean? The most of us, you never see it coming, man. And it's one of the most dopest ways to discover people. It's one of the dopest ways to build your collective. Most people that have been dynamic in my life, I could have never navigated it myself. You know what I mean? Yeah, the representative shows up. Yep. And that's another part, you know what I'm saying? But most of your greatest collectives will be people you never would have ever discovered on your own. It would have been by happenstance. Now, absolutely, I talk about the representative often when we talk about relationships. You have to be involved with someone long enough to figure it out. But I told you one of the quickest ways to find out your representative, if the person is showing a representative, is in my 3 dating rule. The first date, when you meet somebody, y'all should just be kicking it, having a great time, staying in the moment. It shouldn't talk about anything personal. Nope, you're not finna know my job. You're not finna know my family. You're not finna know nothing personal. We just gonna have a great time staying in the moment. And if you can't manage that, we don't get a second date. If you can't take me out of the application phase, if you can't take me out of the point and place where you have this script written and it's not about the events that we're a part of right now, this night, you know what I mean? That's not it, you know? And so the next phase is, are we having a great time now? And again, for those of you who don't know what to do in the moment, hey man, how do you like this music that they're playing? Yeah, do you listen to this often? Is this the kind of music you like to jam to? What's the last concert you've been to? All those kind of things, you know what I'm saying? Do you sing? You know what I mean? Anything like that on the first date. I mean, when you meet somebody out somewhere, whether it's at a fair, a carnival, a club, a concert, any of that kind of stuff, you talk about what's happening in the moment so that you can see if this person is engaged in the moment, if this is a thought out experience. Because we all want somebody, listen, everybody wants to be with somebody who thinks things through. And that's no guesswork. Ladies, I hear more conversations about y'all saying, why do guys always say, what you doing, versus saying, hey, I made plans. Every woman wants a planner. Every man wants a thoughtful woman. I'll show you what that looks like. A thoughtful man is the guy who calls the girl and says, hey, I got reservations at such and such tonight. I was just checking to see if you could make time to eat. Every man knows, every smart man knows women like to eat. I don't care what's going on in their schedule. They like to eat. You know what I'm saying? And if you could plan it out to the time and place, you've already won half the battle. You know what I mean? Hopefully during your conversations, you've discussed what kind of food she likes. And the fact that you've taken an interest in taking her somewhere that maybe she was always wanted to go or never been before, but always thought about, that kind of thing, that should come up in your conversation. And if you take her there, that's a really dope and thoughtful gesture, right? But getting the representative out of the way starts with the first day of having a conversation about literally nothing. When I meet you, I just want to talk about what's happening right now. You look nice. Did you shop here? Did you get it at this mall? Or did you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing, right? May sound corny, but corny is so authentic and real. I've been called corny so much in my life, it don't make sense. You so corny? I'd be like, yeah, but that's what makes me different. Because I'm not afraid to be me. I'm not afraid to be open. I'm not afraid to be whack. Because whack is only whack until it works. You wonder why you see a certain dude with a certain kind of girl and you be like, how did that? He probably just kept it 100. You know what I'm saying? And out of all these fake people who run their representative into the ground for like 3 to 6 months and can't keep it up, he's a breath of fresh air. He may not be the best looking, but he will care about his hygiene and how he dresses. He will understand the nuances of a woman, where to take her, what to do, how to want. He'll dote over his woman. He won't dog her out. So the second date is how you figure it out. Oh, I'm sorry. And a thoughtful woman. A thoughtful woman is that woman who just does stuff that people just don't do. I dated a girl once who I'll just say it's one of the most thoughtful things. I've had several thoughtful things, and in the top 5 or top 10, this was one of them. I got a phone call. It might have been a text, and she said, go to your door. All I could think of was, what the hell am I going to my door for? You know what I'm saying? And why are you texting me to go to the door? You at the door? You know what I'm saying? I go to the door, and I look down, and there's a bag. Now, when I say it's a bag, it's about this big, and it's full of Panera Cinnamon Crunch bagels. If you know me, at this time, she knew it. I loved Panera Cinnamon Crunch bagel with hazelnut cream cheese. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? they just did it for me. And she had them at the door. I don't know when she came by, whatever. I was like, yo, that's so thoughtful. But it also came with a note saying, hey, enjoy these for now. This is just the beginning. I don't even think it was my birthday, yo. She was like, enjoy these for now. Meet me at blah, blah, blah hotel at this time tonight. I was like, okay. Now, mind you, listen, if y'all ever wanted to know why last night was really dynamic and awkward for me at the same time is I'm a giver. I'm a giver by nature. You know what I mean? My mother was a giver. I'm a giver. And I'm not used to receiving. I felt so, I don't know. You know what I mean? If you, a true giver just feels very awkward when receiving because we're not used to that. You know what I mean? Like we're the ones who stick our necks out on the line. We're the ones who we have no problem giving and whatnot. And so receiving just feels different. You know what I mean? And especially when it is out of nowhere. It is, last night I was just like, whoa, like what is happening? You know what I'm saying? And to have changed positions from being a giver to a receiver, it was kind of crazy. But it also fuels a giver to do more. You know what I'm saying? So she invited me to the hotel, and she had dinner at the restaurant reserved for us to be at the hotel. So we eat dinner, and I'm thinking, okay, cool, we about to get up out of here. And she's like, no, I got a room. And, I don't know how she did it. She said what she did was she told me she got up before I did and told me what room to go to. So she got up, went to the room. I go to the room. It's a bubble bath waiting on me. She got on something super sexy and fly and all that. And she had my favorite dessert. I was like, yo. But that's what thoughtful looks like. Thoughtful is when you consider or think about the person that you with and you do something that they wouldn't necessarily think of doing. It could be something simple. It could be, it could be something simple, you know what I mean? But it's thoughtful. You know what I mean? It's you considered the nuances. I've had someone do something like have me, they kind of tricked me to leave my place, and then they had somebody come and clean my place, and I thought that was thoughtful. I also thought it was like, I see you, you trying to say I don't keep a clean house. But it was sweet. I understood it. You know what I'm saying? It was their way of being thoughtful, of helping out. And I've been fortunate to, at times, have people do very thoughtful things. You know what I'm saying? And so you want to make sure that that's a part of your collective. But the way to understand how to get rid of your representative really quickly. First date, y'all just talk about, what's in front of you and around you. Second date, you and them go on a date and you go somewhere nice, somewhere for dinner or whatever. And then you talk about world issues and things that, again, are not personal, but we all kind of have to deal with it. You could talk about stuff that you've seen online. You could talk about stuff that's in the news. You could talk about sports. You could just get a feel for how well-rounded the person is. And will you be able to? And this is why this is important. When you get done with the application, is there going to be complete silence because you have nothing else to talk about? Or will you have the wherewithal to engage with me about the things that are going to be happening on a regular basis? Are you cool with talking about something I might have seen on Instagram? Are you cool with discussing memes? Are you cool with different things like that? Because those are the things that keep the conversation going. I'm going to tell you right now, the last thing you want to do is you don't want the conversation to stop. You don't want to put barriers on what you can converse about. You don't want to get in a position where you're at a stalemate when it comes to conversing about things that you take an interest in. Y'all ever had somebody do that? Y'all ever had somebody, you be like, hey, did you see the such and such? Nah, I ain't see it. And they don't want to talk no more. And you be like, well, or you get to talking about and they're not even, into it. They don't take an interest in what you're saying and what caught your attention. Do you know that is one of the most telling ways for a person to understand what excites you and how you tick? You have a journey for the time that you're with somebody, for the person that you collected. You have a time that you are looking to understand them better. That never stops, y'all. I don't care how old you get. You never stop paying attention to your person. The minute you stop paying attention, they check out. Now, this has nothing to do with anybody else, but typically what happens is when you fumble the ball, you get caught slipping. Somebody else picks the ball up. And it won't even be by purpose. It'll be by happenstance that somebody is in the vicinity to laugh at the joke you frowned at, to communicate about the newspaper article that you had no interest in, to talk about the memes and to talk about the videos that are circulating online and all those different kind of things that you have that you're above, or whatever the case may be, or whatever your reason is that you don't talk about it. People want to talk and not just listen to you vent. I had a rule that you had to say something positive. If you're going to vent to me, you got to say 2 things positive before you get to vent. I'd ask, hey, man, what kind of conversation is this? What kind of conversation is this? Man, work was da-da-da. I said, hold on 1 second. You got to tell me something positive. You got to tell me 2 things positive. Because if you're going to pull my level down to point -5, then I got to start at the positive 10. So at least I'm still above 5 when we get off this call. But thirdly, here's the determining part, y'all, for y'all to understand the person you collected even better. And all of you should have these. Like, all of y'all should have a barrier of entry. Do you know if you're trying to join the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or the Space Corps, do you know you got to go through stuff to get into it? Do you know you got to actually go through a rigorous training just to be in it to learn more? Do y'all get it? Like, you have to have a training course just for people to break the barrier of entry. It ain't Google Eyes. It ain't, fast cars. It ain't a lot of money. You should make sure that you have a designed course to some degree for a person to break through the holy grail, which is your heart and your mind. You should have something set up. And there's no time limit. I know people want a time limit. One of the things that bothers me is when people say, well, I got 3 months to da-da-da-da. You got to get a better plan and a better system. You know what I mean? You got to get a better system because it shouldn't take that long for your discernment to kick in. You know what I mean? Your discernment, you have to train your discernment to work a little bit faster. But one of the determining factors is when you are about to enter the 3rd date. And I'm going to tell y'all all this. Y'all should try this. It's going to be real interesting. The 3rd date is when you and him, it's a dual part, like it's a double part. And Crump will tell you, I've been kind of on this for a long time. And it's a very sufficient method. If you ever want to know if your person is being fake and not being themselves while they're with you, then you put them around the people they've been around longer and watch how they behave and listen for what the company says about your person. Yeah, that's right. You and him, ladies, you go to his friends and y'all watching the game or something. And if any of his friends say, man, you sure is acting funny around your girl, man, you sure it. So the person that she's with is not this dude that's right here. Because you want that person to be himself. What up, Cassandra? You want that person to be themselves often. More often than not. Now, if circumstances has changed and you got to put on a special voice or a special attitude because you're in a special condition, I totally get it. Corporate events and stuff like that, I totally understand. But if you're around the homies, the people who truly know you and you can't be yourself while you with that person, oh no, hell no. If you side-eyeing them, if they side-eyeing each, if your guy is side-eyeing his homies like, no, don't do that. Yeah, problem, man. Because you are still dating somebody who's not being themselves and you got a month to 2 months of discovery still waiting to happen, yet you want, or he wants, to participate in your life as though that he is who he says he is. And that's the problem. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. Everybody has a slight bit of representation when they meet, but not to the degree. It shouldn't last past the beginning. Like, I understand a protective barrier when you meet somebody and you just have this layer of security up for your own, ego and, you know what I'm saying, all that, you know, you don't want somebody to kind of play you in the beginning. But after you see that they are the person that you like and that you want to be with, your shield should come down so they can be ready. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wow. That's what's up, Handbag. I want to post that. Handbag said, after praying, because some of us don't have the discernment on our own, and honestly, you should pray over everything. After praying, my collector told me he's married. Glad I didn't give up the and no date. Yeah, that's very real, and that's the only way you get to that place, y'all. I mean, listen, I do believe in love at first sight. I do, but I also understand that there's a social mechanism that has to go along with that. I have to also believe that, you know, that I'm capable of getting it wrong and not right all the time. And so that's when your barrier of entry, that the gateway, that pathway to your heart and everything has to kick in. You know, and these should be tried and proven things. Please don't try nothing new. Don't be trying nothing new and unproven. Because you'll get that question from me. I am always thinking. So when you know the person that you're with and they try something new on you, you have to say, have you tried this before? I know it sounds like a stupid question, but you got to ask, hey, have you done this before? And if they say no, and you explain to them like, yo, this isn't really working out for me, so why would you continue? Like, it's not yielding the results you want based off of your expectations of how I'm supposed to respond, and it's not clicking. So can we not do this anymore? Can we move on? This experiment is over. It's failed many, many times. Because, you know, that's what happens as people try to figure you out. They you know, you gotta make sure that the system that you're doing, either you've gotten it from a mentor, somebody you respect and who's going to be honest with you about the results, that has tried it and said, listen, you know, y'all got people like that. Y'all got people in great relationships, man, that can give you some advice and say, this is a pitfall that you can run away from. You can curve away from going through this if you do this or if you try this, and this is a way to discover this. And you need that group of people as people that you've collected that you can lean on for mentorial advice. Now, I might have just made that word up, mentorial, but it sounded good when I said it, so I'm gonna keep it. You need to get some mentorial advice from people who are successful at what your ambitions are. Period. They should be a part of your collective. When I wanted to learn how to get better at music, I went to someone who was very well respected and who was always digging in the crates. Like, he was always searching for a way to do this, a way to do that better. And you can't do anything but try to hold on to the coattails of a person who is moving through life that way. Each one of y'all got somebody who is doing something you want to do within arm's reach, or maybe a little bit longer distance than that, but somebody who is doing what you want or has the life that you want or is involved in something that you want, that you should be reaching out to. And listen, whether y'all know it or not, most people who have the information, they want to give the information away. They do not want to die with that information that they could have gave you to change the course of your life. You just have to be brash enough. You have to be open enough. You have to be willing enough to go and say, hey, man, listen, man, I love what you guys are doing. I don't even know where to begin with asking you, how do I get to that place? You know? No, there's nothing wrong. Listen, Cassandra, is nothing wrong with love at first sight. It's kind of like that old adage where they say money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. And loving someone at first sight has nothing to do with being wrong. It's what you do as a result of it that makes it off. Loving someone at first sight or falling for somebody immediately should lead you to, like I said, to put them in that portal of process that you have so that you should be more ambitious about it because you got this urge and this feeling. You know what I'm saying? People move differently when they're passionate about something. We know that. But you also have to move with the commitment that you have to yourself to make sure it goes right. Not most people who are blinded by love move like blind people when it comes to love, and that's unfortunate. And that's why you also have people that you've collected that help you see things clearly. Your girlfriends are usually the first line of defense that tell you, girl, you tripping, da 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 da. And instead of listening and saying, all right, let me examine it, you'd say, you don't know what you're talking about. This time is different, da 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 da, and you move forward. And again, you have to take some self-accountability for that. But no, I think that you can see someone and you could be led to someone who is meant to have an impact in your life immediately. Like most interactions do happen that way. Like, and sometimes it's not even physical. It's just the way a person communicated with you, and you just like, yo, I rock with you. Something about you make me want to rock with you. You know? Yeah, there's none. You know? But the more you communicate, the more you peel off the layers that most people are covering themselves with, so that you can identify if they're truly, you know, a person that you want to put in your collective. Your collective says a lot about you. You know, y'all heard this story, the company you keep, you know what I'm saying? If you surround yourself by 5 billionaires, you'll be the 6th, that kind of thing. All those things are very true. Your collective are a doorway into who and what you do. So when you see people who are people who travel alone, people who do it themselves, they have a very exclusive collective of people. And it's hard to get really close to them because they're very guarded and they hold those relationships in high regard. Their collective of people is off limits to most people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are very rare. And, and so they protect them at all costs, as you should. You should always be protecting someone that you've deemed high value in your collective of people. It's important. Because you won't allow them to be in situations that will compromise your relationship. How many of y'all have brought somebody around, somebody that y'all, said was special or deemed in high regard, and that person said or did something that screwed up your relationship? You know what I mean? And you look back at it and it's like, oh, I could have handled that better. I should have managed that situation 10 times better than I did. And it's those times where you start really reflecting on how much somebody means to you and how loosely you regard them. I got relationships that I won't bring anybody around. I ain't invite nobody new. The adage that Drake them said was like, no new friends. I get that. I don't completely subscribe to it, because I think for you to expand your network, there has to be new people in your life. You have to be available, but you have to have the discernment. And I typically am I'm a big referral person. Yeah, I'm a big referral person. Like, I want somebody to blame. To be honest, I want somebody to blame. I want somebody to blame when I be like, yo, you brought this nut, you know what I'm saying? Like, this fool, you know what I'm saying? And then I have to tell them that their ability to bring somebody around has now diminished. You have carelessly brought somebody into the fold that shouldn't be here, because you didn't vet them properly to see and make sure that they wasn't going to make us look stupid. Yeah. And yeah, true story. The bigger your circle, the bigger your collective of people, the more that circle gets compromised. So if you look at it like I don't want to say a rubber band. I want to say that something that expands and gets thinner as it expands. I mean, we can use a rubber band as an example. The more you pull on the rubber band, the less elasticity. It gets stronger in elasticity per se, but it's easily to be broken. So if your bandwidth is really high, you have a good chance of somebody in that group screwing up. Somebody who wasn't vetted completely. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who didn't get the full memo. And you'd be surprised at what you don't say can cost you more than what you ever say. So I'm the guy who I know people sometimes get tired of me sometimes, because I am quick to say things. You know, I'm quick to always double down on something. Ebook said there is a such thing as a stupid question. That would be asking a question that you already knew the answer to. I disagree, Ebook. I'm gonna post that for you though. Ebook said there is a such thing as a stupid question that would be asking a question that you already know the answer to. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. Most women use that technique, Ebook. You've been a victim of it, and most men have been a victim of a woman asking a question she already knows the answer to, but she does it as a fact-finding mission to see if you're going to tell the truth or if you're going to lie. So there's more to the purpose of somebody doing that. They're now checking your integrity. So it's only stupid to you because you're on the receiving end, knowing that they know this, but it's a gut check. They're trying to see who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? And most time they're trying to catch you in something. You know what I'm saying? So honesty in that case is what should be happening at the forefront of that, and you won't be in a situation where it's a stupid question. And psychologically, you will examine that's the reason why they would have asked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when somebody is asking me an answer when I expect or assume that they should know the answer, that's kind of when you should say, hey, listen, you and I both know the answer to this question. So let's just talk about what you really want to talk about. You know what I mean? That's the dynamic you have to have as a man, is to say, because it feels like a game when that happens. If you know the answer and you just want to hear me say it, that's one thing. But if you know the answer and we're about to have a discussion, let's get to the underlying problem or the situation that you really want to talk about without going through this process. I've said it before. I think I don't know if I said it in a on somebody's chat. I did. I said it on a young lady's Instagram post. I said that if a man is put up to the test, most times he will fail the test on purpose just because he knows you're testing him. You feel me? I know I do. I intentionally fail the test because I feel like you got some nerve asking me this question. So I know what happens if I get it right. Let's see what happens if I get it wrong. What happens if I give you the answer you think you want? So just so y'all know, that's a part of another conversation we're going to have, but in communication, please avoid trying to test people, especially in situations. I don't believe there is a stupid question at all. There could be stupid intent behind a question, but the question itself is never. I don't think the question is dumb. I think the reason why somebody would ask me some shit like that, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? I'd be like, the reason why, like, you come on, man, why are we even talking about this? That type of thing. And again, as a communicator, you have to be conscious of what's being asked of you and what negotiation you will give to it. Sometimes I got something for you, and I spoke on this before. I can't remember which live it was, and I think y'all enjoyed this. This is a tip and tool that everybody should use when somebody decides to ask them a question. You, in return, and I know y'all gonna love this, you say, how long have you thought about what you're asking me? And they're going to say, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days. And you say, okay, cool. 3 days. Can I have a day and a half to get back to you on that? You had 3 days to think about it. Can I have a day and a half? You know, because it's always full of a test, Brenda. Those conversations where you know the answer, Brenda, and you ask the question anyway, it's you testing his integrity. And if you got to question his integrity, then you have the answer prior to doing that anyway in other ways and shapes and forms. He will have showed you he's not a person of high integrity without you having to test him. When communication is a negotiation off rip, especially when somebody's asking you, you know? Yeah, when somebody's asking you a question and it's a deep question, I have to ask, man, that was real. That's very profound. That's very thought. That's very deep. How long have you been thinking about that? They ask Patricia because it's a test, you know? Women test their men all the time. But in order to have a great conversation, and especially when it comes to deep topics, I just need the same amount of time you had to think about it. Because you've played out every scenario of this conversation, and I'm about to walk into one of those scenarios that I didn't have a chance to examine. I didn't have a chance to think through thoroughly. I didn't have a chance to, to run the same sims as you did. And I reserve my right to think about it. You did. And if it bothers you that I want to think about it, then that's another issue altogether. As you're collecting people, it's the way you relate, the way you can, communicate that makes a huge difference. I was just, yeah. No, but yeah, even in general, there's purpose behind every question, ebook. Whether it's purposeful to you or, you know what I'm saying, is another thing, right? So I would never say it's a stupid question, because if they're asking it, it probably means something to them. And if they're in your vicinity to ask you this question that you deem is stupid, you got to remember they're a part of your collective. And if you're calling people a part of your collective stupid, you got to remember you made the choice to make it so. So I don't do that. You know what I mean? Then you would not. There, Keisha, there's very seldom things. You so funny. She said, so if I thought about it just now, then how long of a time you need to answer me then? I need profound statements very rarely come up in moments. You know what I'm saying? Usually they come in the midst of a conversation that's been had that should already been delayed based off the first question or concern that was had. So you may have opened up with something else and then you said something profound that is spontaneous and in the moment. But at that point, we got to revert back to the initial thing. Let me think about it. That's what you got to say. Let me think about it. Like, even this discussion we're having right now, you've been thinking about it for a month. I need half a month to think about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's the premeditated questions, the things that they already have. When a person questions you and then has a path already laid out onto where they think it should go, those are very dangerous conversations. They're loaded. They are loaded with, they're loaded with a lot. Just so you know, there's a lot that you have to be mindful for. You don't want to be, you just don't want to be a victim of somebody else's. You know how people play out scenarios. They figure it's a chess game and they got all the moves. And I'm like, you've been staring at the board for a while. Can I have the same opportunity to examine the board so I can see what you're trying to do to me? Can I see what that? Again, when you're dealing with the people that you choose, life is a lot easier. If your collective is on point, there's not a lot of explaining. There's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of agreeance if you got the right collective. And then there's a lot of constructive work that is done by the collective that you will adhere to. Excuse me. You don't want to build a collective that you got to question their motives, their intent. Your collective, you should know that if they're saying something to you, it's because they're concerned about it. They're saying something to you because they care about you and they want the outcome to be better. They want things to work out. Yes. The answer is, when people ask that, Patricia, and I give them a response, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not a stupid question to me. There are no stupid. I don't think anyone has asked me a stupid question as long as I've been on live. And if they have, I've dismissed it so quickly that I don't remember it. I don't hoard those comments or things that I don't want to, that I don't want to experience. It's crazy, man, what you dismiss and don't recall. Because I had if JC's still on here, man, JC had a conversation with me the other day. JC was my college roommate, man, and he just told me, because I've done so much stuff, it's kind of weird, man, that I don't remember some stuff. And he was filling me in on some stuff, and he was just like, bro, you was a fool. And I was like, yo, he really reminded me of some of those things, and I'm blessed to have had him as an intricate part of my collective when I was in school. I don't know how I would have made it through without the crew that we had in college, but it's important that as you build your collective, there are people that can correct you. That not only that they can correct you, but that the people that can correct you are qualified to correct you. You know what I mean? True story, Shannon. But you gotta understand when to answer that question. You know what I mean? Too many times we think that someone has let me tell you what the typical way of life is for most people. Not for me, but for most people. People think they can ask you a question and that you are mandated to answer it. Ain't that funny? That's one of the most weirdest things ever in life, is that people think that they can ask you something, strangers included, and that you are supposed to honor them with a response. can a collective ask to lead to a selfish plan? I don't even understand that. You gotta break that down a little bit better. But had y'all noticed that a total stranger can ask you a question and feel some kind of way when you don't answer it? I always think that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Because have any of you all ever told somebody, I'm not interested in thinking about that right now? Sorry. Have any of y'all ever said that to somebody? I'm not even. I know. Okay. The way that you probably would have said it was like, yo, I'm not even thinking about that right now. Like I have had somebody say, I ain't even on that right now. You know what I mean? That's probably the way to escape that conversation. Like I'm not even on that right now. You know. But so many people feel they have the right to ask you a question and whatnot. And you just have to manage it in a way where you feel comfortable. And I think that we don't make a lot of decisions like for our own comfort, mentally, socially, and emotionally. I was talking about in general. Yeah. Okay. I'm with it, E-Bug. I get it. Or it's a question, I just want to answer, yeah. It's important that we manage those things, right? But again, these aren't things. What's up, Stacy? And these are things that are not going to be prominent among your collective. Again, your collective kind of knows you. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, like, who said that? Remember, did somebody say it the other day when we were on live and it was like, you're my friend or whatever? I was like, nah, we ain't friends. We not friends. We're associates. Compartmentalizing the relationship in its to be more authentic is making sure people know their position in your life, not in a negative way, but just so they understand, like, nah, you can't call yourself my friend because my friends did and went through a lot with me to be labeled a friend. You could be an associate, and before that, you'll be an acquaintance. But being a friend takes a whole lot more. Now, they all have their different degrees of how I'm going to trust you. There are a bunch of different degrees on how I'm going to manage our relationship. And there's a lot of, you know, the leeway that I give my friends is totally different than the leeway that I give an associate or a acquaintance. You be an acquaintance and you say something stupid, you ain't gonna be no acquaintance no more. You're gonna be over there. You're gonna be with the other people. You know what I'm saying? You an associate that say something crazy, I'm gonna have to check you. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can get straightened out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to check you and get things back in alignment, and we good. You a friend, it's gonna go down. We might argue, we might fight and all that, and then after that, we back on our, you know what I'm saying, on our BS. We back to doing what we do. And it's like it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So each level of our relationship, you have to honor each one of them as you build your collective. Your collective will always start off, if it's done right. Some people may skip the acquaintance part and become an associate based off of the referral system. Like I got friends that became friends because they're friends with my friend. You know what I'm saying? And my friend is because they're friends, they already skipped the line to associate. You know what I mean? They skip that line. They're not going to be random, especially if we hanging out. They not my friend. They my associate who is friends with my friend. And as we build more, they have an easier pathway to being a friend, like to the point where now I'll call them and be like, yo, what up, fool? You know what I'm saying? They have entered that circle where we all friends. Yeah, it's when you're collecting people, it's important that everybody knows their role. Listen, and that goes from them knowing their role in your life and you knowing your role in their life. Some of you are supposed to have a strong position in somebody's life, and some of y'all are just supposed to be an influencer in their lives, and some of y'all are just supposed to be a reminder in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain roles that you have to play and that you have to understand which one your role is in a person's relationship as you're building it or whatnot. And sometimes people don't know their roles, so they overstep. They say something crazy that don't fit the position that they've been given, or they do something that you be like, yo, that ain't where we ain't even like that, yo. For you to say something or do something like that, you know? Exactly. That's a modern day way of saying it, Handbag. Handbag says, don't just randomly FaceTime me when we ain't established nothing. That is a more current way that people are overstepping their position. It'd be like, why are you like we don't FaceTime. We ain't on that. You don't get the privilege to see me whenever you want to. What are you saying? And people will overstep their boundaries when they don't know their position, when they don't know where they stand. And so it's okay. Listen, you shouldn't be hurting anyone's feelings when you talk about what it is. And that's the challenge nowadays is because of the way society is right now and everybody trying to be politically correct and not hurt anyone's feelings, it makes so much, it is so bad right now. When you can't communicate freely on how things should be. I still communicate that way. That's the reason why I get in trouble on certain platforms. Is because I'm not politically correct. I'm from the place where they call people rereads and, and it not mean that I'm actually calling you a reread. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the place where we say different things that still mean that shallow, empty comment that I made that now society's trying to make it a context point for how I feel about you. It's not that. I don't feel like you're a reread. I don't think that you're dumb as dirt or none of that stuff that I'm saying. I just think it's, it is what it is. It's stupid or you a reread for that or whatever. And I'm not harming anybody by having that conversation, but it's challenging for us to, and it's doing what it's meant to do. It's meant to confuse us. Being politically correct, meaning changing the way that you grew up communicating and understanding what words meant that were outside the context of what they taught you in school. Like most of the language that we use, at least the expressions that we use, aren't the ones we use in school. It's not the ones we learned in school. It's the ones we learned in our communities. And unfortunately, every community has their lingo and their conversation and their understanding. Like I know that if I go to Chicago and I say, "What up, Joe?" He know I'm not calling him Joe. He know what's up, fool? And he know I'm not calling him a fool if I say that. If I go to Detroit and I say, "What up, Doe?" They know I mean what up. You know what I mean? It's a gesture, it means something cool. You know what I'm saying? In the South, you know, "What up, slime?" If you say that, they know you ain't calling them a slime. It's gotten challenging to be raised outside of the confines of what somebody else is deeming acceptable. So, it's only people who can change that is us. We're the only people who can say, "No, that's not, you're tripping." And it doesn't have to be in the dictionary what the conversation I'm trying to have. The words don't have to exist in the dictionary, although they've been adding it and they've tried to call it ebonics and all this other stuff they're trying to label the human language and experience based off the community that you were raised in. This is the collective of people who have sown into me. So yeah, I have to speak that way. I wonder, here's a question I wonder. I wonder if on these platforms like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, who really go hard on people and the way they communicate, I wonder if those people who speak in foreign languages get admonished the same way we get admonished with the American language when we communicate the way we would normally communicate in our communities. Like, do they come down on another person speaking another language that would say the exact same thing that I would say about my community or the way we communicate? I wonder if they do that. You know what I mean? I'll just be curious about that. And agreed with you, Patricia. Patricia said, and this is a good statement. I think I'll post this. Some people are for a season and some for a reason. Now, that's a very important point when building your collective of people. Some of us are collecting people that they should have allowed to not be collected, so to speak. Now, rightfully so, you don't know that immediately. Like I said, some people don't have that kind of discernment, so people get to kick it and hang out a bit longer than they should. Some of those people have even raised their status to the friend place. You know what I mean? Some of your friends have overstayed their welcome. You can identify with these people because there's always a backhand compliment. There's always a a well wish, but it has a taste of envy associated with it. They mean, their gesture is supposed to mean well, but there's a catch-22 to those situations. And unfortunately, it's tied to years of memories. Unfortunately, it's tied to experiences that you don't want to let go. And I experienced that a while back. I had to see it for what it was and then say, yeah, this ain't it. And it's hard to do. I'm going to tell you, it's very hard to do, especially with people who have made it to the friend portion of your life. Like people who you've been around and you've had dynamic experiences with. If you give them the opportunity, though, they'll make it easy for you. That's what I will tell you. You can't keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, because that's what friends get. They get the benefit of the doubt. You at the point of you stop giving them the benefit of the doubt, you can actually see them for who they are and were. And you'll go back in the history of your time together and say, mother sucker, this dude was really on one. I didn't identify with the friend that I distanced myself from at the time. I didn't think it was nothing. I realized that at one point it came up that we were dating or kind of seeing the same girl, but we weren't friends at the time. We weren't even acquaintances. I think we just heard about each other. But he had a desire to know who I was that was seeing the girl that he was seeing, but I didn't have a desire to see I didn't care who it was. Like, I didn't care to know that she was seeing somebody else or whatever. I was good. You know what I'm saying? And then after becoming associates and actually group members, you know what I'm saying? Traveling, and then we talking about girls. He would talk about girls that he knew I had been with, and that he dealt with them after me, type of thing. And I was like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't think none of it at the time. It was like, yeah, bros before hoes type shit. It was like one of those like kind of conversations. And then I realized he was actively doing it. Like there was an intent behind it. I was like, yo, bro, that's not cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause I didn't go behind him. That was never my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would never do that. And once you start realizing that a person is envious of your position and you have not done anything to warrant somebody being that way, then you adjust everything. Yeah, you adjust everything. It's easier said than done, Boog, he said, like they say, when someone shows you who they are, believe it. It's difficult to do that for somebody that your friends get the benefit of the doubt. So even if you think that even if they've done what they did, you still be like, but nah, he wouldn't do that. That's such and such. You feel me? And that's the catch-22 to friends, is friends who are secretly envious of you. They are the only ones. I'm going to tell y'all this. There should be nobody who hurts you in your life except for your friend or your lover. That's it. Family shouldn't hurt you as much, because family knows they got carte blanche. They can get away with anything, Yeah. That's a whole different thing, Brenda. They call that a cult. I'm joking. Brenda said, I've experienced a collective group of an assembly of people. Nice people who want my presence, but controlling. I feel a sense of captivity, and I'm a free-spirited individual. Yeah, so if anything challenges your freedom, whether it be mentally or physically, then you absolutely have to turn away from it, because it's not benefiting you, it's actually hurting you. Anytime you start making adjustments that make you uncomfortable, man, you know what? The best thing about a car seat is you can adjust it to your comfort level, or you could just get out the car. Either way. But you don't have to sit there and be uncomfortable. Only people who are close to you should be able to hurt you, y'all. I don't do a lot of, and it took me some time to learn this, because I got my nickname Skrapp from fighting, y'all. And I used to scrap over a lot of stuff. And I finally got it, that the only people I should ever fight with are people that I know. It's a waste of time for me to fight a stranger. It's a waste of time to fight strangers. It's a waste of time to argue with strangers. It's a waste of time to have road rage with strangers. What do I care? I won't see you after I walk away from this. That's how you got to think. I won't. Once I leave your vicinity, man, you're a fart in the wind. But unfortunately, some people make those people shit stains. And what I mean by that is what should have been a fart in the wind, what should have been a hot second or two of your life becomes something that you can't wipe off. You know, we've seen horrible incidents. I'm gonna give y'all something, and I'm gonna wrap it up, y'all. I'm gonna wrap it up with the collective of people, and I'm gonna talk about one collective person who sold into thousands of lives. Her name was Becky Stram. She was a educator in my high school. And I'm going to give y'all something that y'all should pass on to every single person y'all ever meet. And you should take it as an understanding for yourself. Every Friday, like clockwork, through my whole entire high school experience, she would get on the intercom and she would say, "It only takes 1 second to get in trouble, but it could take your life or a lifetime to get out of it." I'll repeat it, and then you guys will think about the times where you've had issues or concerns where you could have just did something different in that moment. She said it only takes 1 second to get in trouble, but it could take your life or a lifetime to get out of it. Now think about your friends who've gone through situations in life and it's been a split-second decision where they should have walked away and instead they got up in somebody's face and that person had no regard for their life or their livelihood, and they done something. The simpler ones are driving your car when it could have just taken you a second to look over your shoulder or to not look at that text or to do something else, and next thing you know, you're dealing with something that is inconvenient in life. We've watched videos of people get out at road rage and interact with people that they didn't know they was interacting, that didn't care for their life like that. 1 second. What 1 second where they should have just said, I'm cool. All of us have gone to school with people. All of us know people who have compromised their life from a 1 second decision. From a 1 second decision. This plays in my head. It's such a thing that I think about on a regular basis. And you have to have, again, your discernment, and you got to have these moments where you allow the Spirit to speak to you, because you don't have it naturally. You won't have it naturally to think about it. So when you're driving or you're doing something crazy, you should have that thought like, no, I'm gonna mess something up. Let me chill out. Like, you should have that kind of discernment that comes over you quickly before something happens. I have this thing, man, and very few people have noticed it because I kind of mask it really well. If I'm moving around and I'm driving or I'm doing something, every now and again, I'll get a thought in my head about the worst that could happen. You know what I mean? And I have to snap myself out of it because I'm a vivid dreamer. I'm a vivid thinker. I can see it. And it's so real to me when I do it that I have to snap out of it immediately and then adjust whatever I was doing. You know what I mean? So you have to manage that with that thought in your head that life changes not in minutes but in moments. And if you can make the right decision in that brief moment, you know what I mean? You can change you could be good. I think that's what has helped me out through so much. I've seen so many people make decisions in a brief second that are no longer here with us, or that have compromised their life, that are no longer able to move freely. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. That's all it's taking. 1 second. So I want to leave y'all with that. I want to leave y'all with that because I think it's powerful and impactful. And I want y'all to share that. Becky Strams, her legacy lives through me for sowing into my life. She's one of the people that I collected along the way and I hold in high regard. And she impacted thousands of kids' lives and with that message every Friday. I wish we had more educators like that. I know they don't do that in the schools anymore. I know they don't have a message that that will ring true throughout their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they teach them stuff in school and all that, but do they teach them something that they'll take with them forever and it will forever hold true? You know what I mean? Like, how many things can you remember from school that impacted your life in a way where no matter when, where, what you were doing, that it applied? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't always thinking about math. You ain't always thinking about history. You know what I mean? You may most times think about, you know, how you communicate and you know what I'm saying, and how you write and all that. But, man, the one thing that always should ring in your mind is that 1 second. So for all you educators, man, I applaud you. I applaud you for what you do, you know, and how these kids will collect you as one of their people as they grow up, as a mentor, as an educator. You'll be a teacher, you know, the great teachers, you'll be the ones that they always say had an impact on their life. And that's all we want to do. And that's all I want to do, man. Now, hopefully the conversation tonight impacted somebody's life. I'm hoping that there's something in it for you. And I hope that it was so impactful that you will share it. You know what I'm saying? And that you'll do something that will bless somebody else. For those of you who are in the chat tonight, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget ways to support the channel, super chats, super stickers, joining as members. I appreciate all that because we're going to absolutely expand what we're doing here on YouTube, and I want you guys to be a big part of that. That's funny, Shannon. I've never heard of that expression before. I'm going to post this. Shannon's funny. She said, my ex-husband did that. That's why he's now a was band instead of a husband. That's too funny. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for showing up and showing out as usual. You know what I'm saying? We will extend these conversations. We got 2 more subject matters, which I will post to see which one y'all want to talk about next. It won't be this weekend. We'll probably talk about it on Monday, but I'll post it on Sunday to see which one of y'all talk about. Do you want to talk about the impact of what you've unpacked, or if you want to talk about why lie? It's going to be an interesting week next week because we got both those conversations that are going to happen next week. In what order that they happen is completely up to y'all. I absolutely want to see some shares of some of this content, by the way. I want to be tagged in, you know, y'all showing it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That is true evidence that there was something in this for you. If not, it makes me feel like I'm not, you know, communicating in a way where you will risk the opinions of others on the comments and conversations that I have. That is the greatest sign of spending your social digital currency on your people of interest. You know what I'm saying? If I am a person of interest to you or somebody that you hold high in your collective, then I would love for you to share that experience with somebody else so they can understand that you have somebody in your corner who is either a mentor or somebody that you enjoy conversing with, that if we were in person, the conversation, I probably wouldn't carry as much as the conversation, but we definitely have a conversation that was enlightening, engaging, and fun and interesting and funny at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that serious where we can't kick it and have fun about some of life issues and concerns. So with that in mind, I've enjoyed tonight's conversation. It's 12:30. We're going to call it the early night tonight. It's Friday. And if anything, I got to see if my people are still on Twitch. They're so mad at me right now for not being on the game. So maybe I can bless them with an early night on the game. If so, I will go live so you guys can show up and show out over there. I'll answer any more questions while I'm live on Twitch. But tonight, man, I appreciate y'all showing up here for another Skrapp After Dark. Tonight's topic, collecting people. I hope you guys do so with care and concern. And I hope you take some of those systems that we talked about and apply them and see how they work out for you. I think you will enjoy pulling together your collective. I've enjoyed it, and I'm finding new and exciting people to be a part of my collective. And I love the journey. So you guys have a great Friday night. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. I'll try to get on to do our drink tomorrow, but I'm getting braided up early in the morning. So, you know, depending on if she pulled my brains out, if she pulled my brains out, I might have to pass and jump on at night. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. All right, y'all. This is not goodbye. This is to be continued.